So, my name's Jonathan Christie. If you don't know who I am, there's my stuff up there. This is the second term, so what we're doing, this is called a plumbing and wiring group. So we do brain, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, blood, hearts, blood vessels, hormones, and a whole lot of immunology, which is biochemistry. So it's the contractor term. And if you survive that, the next term we do the body fluids. Make sense? Let's get down to the grading, which is probably where it matters, right? So 12% of your grade are your lecture quizzes every week. Half your grade are your exams, because you have to prove you know something on your own. 5% of your grade is the homeworky things, and lab's a third. Make sense? And as you learned last term, the little bullet points, remember you have to pass lab to pass lecture. You're here because you did that. Some of your peers are not here because they did not do that. Right? You got to pass lab. If you're below grade cutoff, I can bump you up if I choose. If you want something other than A through an F, you got to call somebody else. If your name's on the roster, you get the grade you're earning. Makes sense? Okay, I will not bore you by reading the thousands of pages of legal stuff we have to tell you, like don't pee your pants, but it's in here. Right? But read that. Let me know if you have a question. Let's go to the lecture schedule. So we know what's coming up in lecture. Greg will give you a lab schedule tomorrow. So today, we're doing brains in all their glory. Right? And what are we doing next week when you arrive? A quiz first. On what? Tonight's stuff, right? So as you know from before, every Friday is a quiz on the prior Friday's material. So you get a quiz every class. Then we do brain integration, quiz, special senses. Then we take our exam week 4, because your lab exam is week 5. So it's a week ahead of your lab exam. And then we do quiz, 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 test. Quiz, quiz, final. Right? Make sense? So every day there's a test or a final, not final, exam. Make sense? Okay, so the textbook you had last term is still good, whatever it was. I don't care what it is. You need a little lecture packet of pain, which most of you should have. We'll do it tonight. And the online stuff, again, is optional. If you want to do the Connect code and go online and spend time, fine. If you don't, fine. I don't even look at this stuff. Make sense? Questions on the schedule? I love second term. So easy. Find the homework page. Yes, I wrote homework again. On my deathbed, I wrote homework. So if you're with me before, you know how this works. Every week of class, there's homework questions. So if you're new to this, you just do the homework and turn it in before I leave here Friday night. So you can write it by hand, you can do crayon, you can type it, you can email it. I just need it before the weekend. Right? So sometime, because I'm going to grade it Monday, and then probably have them posted that Monday, Tuesday, something like that. So try to get them to me over the weekend. But all I need is an answer to those 2 questions next week. A couple sentences is good. Keep it short. Shorter is better. As short as you can. Right? So just answer the questions. So if you understood today's lecture, do a little digging in your head, you should be able to figure these out, or at least know where to go to find them, because they're not in your book. Make sense? So just so you know, in case you future nurses can't figure this out, class 5 is on 2 separate sides because I couldn't make the page fit. So if you're wondering how this works, it's even said it's continued on the next page. Right? I don't like doing that, but it turned out. So week 5's questions are on 2 sides of the paper, future healthcare professionals. Makes sense. All right, so question on the homework. Good, fine. Okay, let's talk about the project page, the last page you have. I can hear the groans, group project. I hate those. Yes, I do. Right? We all do. But remember, the hospitals are asking us that you work together with people you don't like to do something you don't want to do at a time you don't want to do it, right? Because that's your job. Right? So again, they're requiring us to make sure you do group stuff together with annoying people who are lazy and turn in a product. In addition, as future healthcare professionals, you're going to be dealing with this in your day-to-day life. So part of your professional growth is that you understand drugs, because drugs drive healthcare, right? You don't treat something unless there's a pill for it. So the logic here is by understanding the pills people take, you're going to understand your job better when you assign a beta blocker to somebody. Right? Make sense? So that's the goal of this thing, partly working together and understanding your career. So number 1 is a group thing. Groups are more than 1. 2s are fine, 50s are fine. I don't care how many in your group. More is better, actually, for class. But pick as many people as you want in your class. They're your family, you pick them. Number 2, you're going to investigate an action of a drug. I'm using that word very loosely. So drug can be prescribed, it can be over the counter, it can be an herbal thing, a supplement, something you buy from a guy down here on the corner. I don't care what you think drug is, right? What matters is that people take it to treat something. Right? People self-medicate with heroin, right? So the goal is that something people do to stop some problem. That's a drug, whatever you think that may be. right? So if mom gives you chicken soup, that's a drug because it's treating your flu. Make sense? So you can be as top end as doctor, you can be as low end as some herbal thing, right? Or something related. I had a student one time who was in radiography. He did the dyes you inject to analyze radiographs. So that's kind of a drug. It's treating something. So you can be as easy or as hard as you want on that. So it has to relate to what we do this term. So it has to be a brain, nerves, eyes, ears, hormones, blood, heart, immunity. Anything that deals with any of those is fair game, which is a lot of drugs out there. Make sense? Okay, number 3, you're going to do my job. Like last term you did the whole article thing. This term you're doing my job. You're doing a teaching case study about your drugs. So let's go through what that means. A, I'm going to invent Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones had his head fall off. There's A. You're going to give me a patient and what you're trying to treat. For B, you're going to tell me how the drug works to do that. So I do not want the pharmacy insert stuff that no one ever reads, right? I don't need 15 pages of chemical reactions. You're going to keep it to less than 10 and make it relevant. Like, how does aspirin actually stop a headache? There's like 4 things it does, right? So keep it simple, keep it short. You're teaching each other. Make sense? Okay, so you're going to pick a drug for Mr. Jones, and you're going to tell me how that drug works to do that. Letter C. How do you take said drug? Pill, injection, you drink it, you smoke it, whatever. And then D, all the gee whiz stuff you want to tell me, right? Whatever you think that may be. So you're going to invent a patient and disease, the drug and how it's going to treat that disease, and then how the drug's administered, and just other gee whizzy stuff about the disease. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Pretty simple. So you're going to project it on the screen behind me. So you can use the evil PowerPoint, you can use what's Prezi, you can do, I don't care what you do as long as it's on that screen behind me. So there's no paper to write, there's nothing to turn in as a formal report, I just want to grade what you do. The only thing you do have to do is I need a copy to grade so I can remember what you said. So I either need it emailed to me, handed to me, I need something that I can visually see at home. But you're not required to give copies to anybody unless you want to. Make sense? So it's what's on the screen is what you grade on as long as I get a copy to read at home and have my kids destroy. Number 5, remember you're teaching each other. So try to make it meaningful. You can make it funny or not. You can make it exciting or not. You can use, all sorts of multimedia or not. It's your presentation, it's your patient, it's your problem, right? So the only thing, you can use animations, you can use videos, you can use YouTube, I don't care. As long as you're doing 3A through D in some manner. Make sense? Okay, number 6, you get less than 5 minutes because your doctor gives you less than 3. So you get less than 5 to do that. So everyone in your group has to stand up here naked and alone. Everyone has to talk at least once and tell us what you're talking about. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So similar to last time in terms of everyone has to talk and it's about less than 5 minutes. The shorter the better. 3 is better than 5. 2 is better than 3, right? Be short and sweet. Make sense? There's questions afterwards. So come up with a drug that everyone says apart. Deadlines by class number 3. You should have picked your group and a drug of choice. So I need to know who's in your group and what drug you pick. So not everyone can do a beta blocker. We'd all be bored stiff. So if you don't know the drug you're actually going to pick, at least tell me what general ballpark the drug is, like a heart drug or something. So I know where you're going to fall in the classroom. Make sense? So you have 2 more weeks to find people and pick a drug either by name or a drug by type or at least a vague idea of what you're going to do. So if you pick tonight, you get first dibs. Right? Beginning class 4 is when we're going to do the presentation. So the goal would be we learn about the body parts, and then a group would tell us how this drug relates with what you learned. So if you did a brain drug, you'd go beginning class 4 to 6-ish. So we learned about the brain, here are the drugs. If you want to put it off the bitter end, do an immune drug. You're going to go the last couple weeks of class. You pick the drug, you pick the group, you also pick when you go. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Speaking of a drug. Do you have a syllabus?
I don't.
Late and unprepared. What do hospitals do with that? That's right. Fire it. Right. That's okay. Okay, whipping with it. So I'm going to understand kind of this. So 2 weeks, find your group, and then you got to do your presentation. Let's flip the page over. The grading scale. Last time I think everyone got 100% or maybe missed like half a point. So this is not designed to be a punitive, I'm looking to nail you stuff. You should get full credit. If you just follow what I ask, you should get full credit. Right? That's the goal. The goal is that you're learning something, I'm learning something, and you're getting the experience of standing horribly alone and embarrassed in front of people. Which is, people consider death better than public speaking. Right? If you have a funeral, be in the box, not the eulogy. It's actually better for you. Right? So, and here's a sample case that I wrote, which is actually longer than you probably want it to be. This shows you what I'm doing. So in the first paragraph, I have Mr. Jones. He's some diabetic. He's getting Atlantis. Second paragraph, I tell you how Atlantis does it. You can show, by the way, you can use animations. That's fine. So if a manufacturer has a website, go for that. That's fine. I give you some gee-whizzy stuff, and there you go. That would be an A paper. Okay? So that's all I'm looking for. So you can be as short or long as you wish. Makes sense? That is the project of the term. Question on the project, question on homework, question on the schedule, question on syllabus, anything else. So fun about second term, you've already been through the ringer of the first term. You understand how this all works. You sure? By the way, Lantus is off limits. You're not allowed to do Lantus because I gave you Lantus. So that's the one drug you cannot pick. There's some others with HIV you can pick, but that's the one you're not allowed to do. Make sense? Questions? All right, seeing none.